All right, let's do the UFC 211 post-fight recap. These fights were a lot of fun to watch. I enjoyed this pay-per-view, actually. The opening of Jocko and Branch was forgettable, obviously, but overall, I thought the card was a lot of fun. I didn't do well in picks at all, but that's okay. I do need to shout out two people here because I figured I would in the UFC Fantasy Pick'em. I have a UFC Fantasy Pick'em league, so if you haven't joined, join already. But it looks like, hopefully I say your name right, QBO00 got 9 out of 12 correct on that night, and that was the best one. And then Penky18 tied 9 out of 12 as well, but Penky got 4 perfect as opposed to QBO's 1 perfect. So Penky, I think, in my mind, is the real winner, real first place. But congrats to both guys for getting 9 out of 12 picks correct. Let's start with Alvarez and Poirier, which was really the opener, the real opener to the pay-per-view, I think. It was a great fight. They should have been the opener on UFC 211, but they weren't. The fight played out relatively as expected, where Poirier, I thought, was going to be better on the feet with the striking, and Alvarez would do a little bit better with the counters. And I figured I was giving Alvarez the edge to win by knockout because Poirier, when he does start winning, you can see he turns it up a notch and he'll step into the pocket and start throwing down, and he has trouble resisting that. And I thought Alvarez would do his typical thing where he'd get hurt, wing a hook, and knock out his opponent, or like get the tides to turn and it would go in his favor. And it did seem to play out that way. Poirier was winning, though, overall, no doubt, but ends in a no contest due to some stupid rules and bad everything. So whatever, what can you do? It's a no contest. Jocko and Branch, boring fight, played out about as expected too, where Jocko was going to be on the outside and try to use his striking and his reach. Well, he didn't have much of a reach, but I feel like he has better discipline on the reach, and Branch would just get picked apart probably for 3 rounds. But that's not what happened. Instead, it was the other thing that I thought would happen, and that was Branch using his size to pretty much get a decision, and that's what he did. It was boring, way more boring than I thought it was going to be. I didn't care in the first place, but I didn't expect it to be that crappy of a fight. But Branch wins, and it is what it is. Edgar and Rodriguez. Now this one, well, there's a couple things that caught me off guard or surprised me. And that's Rodriguez didn't do much for adjustments in this fight. He fought relatively the same. This was a big moment for him to prove that he has made progressions and that he is going to be not a contender per se, but somebody who is a threat in the division. That's why I picked him to go by decision as opposed to a knockout. I didn't think he would be able to knock out Edgar, but I figured he would try to do his best to keep his range, land a lot of kicks, and use volume to win the fight. But he just got taken down easily. No problem by Edgar at all. And we know Edgar's on another level as far as wrestling, but with the size Rodriguez has and the stance and the tools that he has at range, he could have made this a tough fight, and he didn't. And what caught me off guard a little bit was his inability to get back to his feet. He almost looked like just an angry toddler off his back, kicking out a lot. He was trying to tie up some submissions. Nothing that I think Edgar was ever going to get caught by with the triangles or arm bars, but I thought maybe like tying up a leg or using some kind of submission to get back to his feet, or prior to even getting taken down, using his length. And none of that happened. And Edgar already has pretty decent top control, but man, the way he was mixing in his strikes was awesome. It was a lot of fun to watch Edgar work from top this fight. It was just entertaining all around. Yeah, a little disappointing for Rodriguez. Didn't make those adjustments, didn't see any leaps in progression, which is really what you want to see out of these younger fighters. So he's somebody where those holes are probably going to be consistent. Probably somebody who, like I said in my video, he's not the template fighter of the future that some people were saying, that people were anticipating leading up to this fight. I didn't subscribe to that idea, and it was further proven by Frankie Edgar. He's got to make adjustments. He's got to make improvements. I think training at Jackson Wink, we were seeing some of those improvements, but this one almost looked like a regression. But Edgar just exposed everything. Well, not exposed. He just highlighted what we already knew was there. And he won by shutting Rodriguez's eye up. And he couldn't see out of that. I think it was his left eye. It was a great fight. Congrats to Edgar. Excited for what's next for him. Masvidal and Maia, another fight where I felt like the analysis as a whole from a lot of people, including myself, was about on point. But I think overall we did all expect Masvidal to perform a little bit better. Sorry if there's a dog, if you guys hear that dog in the background. It's storming outside right now, and my roommate's dog freaks out. But Masvidal, I think overall we were all expecting him to do a little bit better, and he did well in this fight. He did very good. He was defending positions and submissions, and he was doing well on the feet, but not enough to put Maia away. And I think in the second and third, many of us were expecting Maia to really tire out and Masvidal to pick up the pace, but they both kind of seemed tired. Maia just kept taking him down. So it was a great fight. Maia is just a monster. It's such a pleasure to watch him fight, and I enjoyed that one. But my pick was Masvidal. I think I chose decision or I picked TKO. I can't quite remember. Joanna Jędrzejczyk and Jessica Andrade. Now, let me preface by saying I don't think Joanna's boring. I thought that fight was fun. I think Joanna's fun. She's one of my favorites to watch. But when you have someone like Jessica Andrade who doesn't make any adjustments for 25 minutes, it becomes fatiguing almost to watch Joanna fight because she's so dominant, but like her opponent they keep stalking at her and just stomping and not making any adjustments. And you're almost watching the same sequence of events happening on repeat for 25 minutes. And that can just be exhausting to watch. I very much enjoyed the fight. Andrade, I thought, was going to do much more in the beginning to try to go for the goal, to try to go for that knockout. And she was getting takedowns here and there. But I mean, there was nothing significant that she was doing, nothing really to put that stamp on. She needed to do damage, I thought. I thought she was going to be more damaging. I think most of us would expect her to go for takedowns, but I felt that the power that she held, she was going to try to shut Joanna down early, and none of that really happened. Joanna just did what we were all expecting, and that was the straight punches and sniping and footwork and the kicks and the leg kicks from the get-go. Joanna with those leg kicks was just crazy. But Andrade made no adjustments, and it was just kind of like, oh, well, we know how this fight's going to go. And yeah, that's how the fight went. Joanna's just too damn good. Dos Santos and Miocic. My pick was Dos Santos. I thought he was going to be able to withstand the onslaught by trying to lead Miocic away from him with the left hook. And Miocic saw that left hook right away in this fight. You can tell that was something they prepared for, because as soon as Miocic saw any left hook or right hand, he reacted, but then he'd close the distance and he just put Dos Santos away. And how I felt the fight might play out if Miocic won was one of two things. He was either going to try to do what he did in the first and second round of the first fight, and that's just try to get Dos Santos out of there early by getting him against the fence and hitting him, and that's what he did. Or he was going to try to play a little safer at range and try to box with Dos Santos and just try to outbox him for 5 rounds to keep his cardio strong and just kind of look for those things that he was weak in before. But he just went out, put him away early. He went the right route. That's kind of Miocic's thing, is he'll come out strong and he'll try to put you away. And that's what he did here. And Dos Santos had nothing. Very disappointed in Dos Santos's performance there. Was expecting a little bit more out of him. But I mean, what can you do? Some people call it USADA. Some people call it the wars. I think there's just, it could be either one of those. Who really knows? I think the wars are obviously the more proven factor here as opposed to USADA. But I think Dos Santos really has those big glaring issues that he needs to fix. Otherwise, he's just going to keep getting exploited there. And Miocic was able to do it this fight. Yeah, there's nothing really else to be said. Miocic is on his way to making history here if he can defend the title again. And Dos Santos is just in a tough position. He's got to work off of managing his range better within the octagon. He's always pressing himself up against the fence, and he is always getting hit on the break of the clinch. He's got to work on that. He's got to clinch with his opponent and work on the inside when the fighters get close, or he's got to learn how to straight blast out or wrestle or something to get his back off the fence, because separating is just not working for him, and it hasn't been for a long time. So great fight from Miocic. It was just a great way to end the night too. So hope you guys enjoyed the fights. If you bet, I hope your bets cashed, because a lot of people walked away with a losing night. I didn't bet on this card. It was way too tough to put any money down. If I would have done anything, it would have been like doing safe bets, like betting the under in heavyweight bouts. That's probably what I would have done. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. Hope you guys enjoyed the analysis leading up. And thank you for watching.